Despite the band's debut record coming out in 2008, Saving Abel's origins dated back 4 years prior to Corinth, Mississippi, whose population is around 14,000. The origins of the group would begin with frontman Jared Weeks and guitarist Jason Null. Both guys had been part of the local music scene before coming together after meeting each other at a mutual friend's house. Null's influences would include bluegrass, country, grunge, and metal, while Weeks is a fan of blues and southern rock. The pair began writing songs on acoustic guitar together on Weeks' back porch. They would originally do shows as a two-man group called Shade of Grace. Null reached out to producer Skidd Mills, who owned a studio in Memphis. Mills would end up inviting the pair to his recording studio in Memphis and sign them to a production deal. The idea behind this production deal was for them to form a band around the pair. Weeks would tell the Southbend Tribune, "We started recruiting band members like Blake Dixon, our drummer. I graduated high school with him. Eric Taylor, our bassist, I went to church with him ever since I was in the second grade." They would recruit a second guitarist in Scott Bartlett, who was the only member not from Mississippi, instead hailing from Memphis. Bartlett was actually a studio musician initially hired to come in and lay down some tracks in the studio for the band. Weeks would tell an interviewer, "We gave him the interview to lay down the lead tracks or join the band. He ended up joining the band." They would change their name to Saving Abel, taking their name from, of course, the biblical story Cain and Abel. Null would recall in several interviews coming up with the name after doing a late-night internet search of Cain and Abel and seeing the line, "There was no saving Abel from his brother Cain." But they were adamant at the same time that they were not a Christian band. In 2006, Saving Abel recorded an independent and self-titled record. All while this was going on, the members were also working day jobs back home. They drive nearly 2 hours to go to and from the recording studio in Memphis, while also playing gigs in the city and making their way back home. They would shop around their self-titled debut release for nearly a year before catching the attention of major labels. The band would write a new song during this period called Addicted, which Weeks had come up with while he was working at a local hospital, Magnolia Regional Health Clinic, as a phlebotomist, drawing blood from patients. It was one morning at 4 a.m. as he walked the halls of the empty hospital. He came up with a chorus for the song Addicted. The song would be stuck in his head for 3 weeks before he even wrote down the lyrics or came up with the music. Not having a notepad to write down the lyrics, he'd find a doctor's prescription pad and jotted down what was in his head. Jared would pen the song about his on-again, off-again high school sweetheart. Null during this period was working as a manager at Kmart. The band had put the song Addicted on their MySpace page, and it eventually found its way to a few major record labels. The band would be playing a show in Jackson, Tennessee, but that night the air conditioner broke at the venue and the band continued to play through the stifling heat, struggling to stay focused. They thought they had blown their chance at signing a label deal. However, a representative from Virgin saw the performance and signed the band the next day. Virgin would push the band to tour a bit more to get some more chemistry as a group. The group's major label debut consisted mostly of new tunes since their independent release, but they also included a few fan favorites, including 18 Days, Running From You, and Drowning Face Down. The band would also get some help from outside songwriters for the project. Released in March of 2008, the group's self-titled major label debut would make waves almost immediately, thanks to the lead single Addicted, which took over the radio airwaves. It would peak at number 2 on the mainstream rock chart and crossed over to the top 40 chart, peaking at number 7, while also peaking at number 20 on the Hot 100. The risque video for Addicted would have the uncensored version debuting on Playboy's website. The song would, of course, have to be edited for radio due to its subject matter, but the band seemed okay with it, admitting that they deferred those decisions to their label. Addicted would end up being one of the most played songs on active radio for the entire year. That does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again on Rock Culture Stories 2. Take care.